They called it a famine in Ireland too. Back when about 1 million Irish people died of starvation and another couple million were displaced from this nation, but it wasn't a famine. Not just a failure of crops, it was our food being shipped out and into the colonisers' shops. So you see, we know this game. We've seen it before, and you don't need to have been there to feel the collective consciousness of those who now demand more. When they see others starved to fucking death. Because while our food was being shipped out, they can't get food shipped in. Because the colonisers know through starvation you'll win, and while we were stealing Trevelyan's corn so our children could make it to see another morn, there are Palestinian parents who have to watch in despair as their children try to exist on just fucking hope and air. But they won't. They will die, like 1 million Irish did before. They called it a famine in Ireland too. And that's why we must demand so much more.
Irish was once banned under British rule. Today, it's still being sidelined by institutions meant to protect it. But this isn't just about Ireland. In places like Palestine, Ukraine and Congo, genocide and language suppression walk hand in hand with erasure. Culture becomes a battleground. But where it's still spoken, there's resistance.
The famine wasn't simply a natural disaster. For centuries, Irish land was taken by absentee landlords, rents extracted and profits shipped to England. Families were forced onto small lots, surviving on the potato alone. When blight struck in the 1840s, it wasn't just a crop that failed. It was a system built to keep people on the edge of starvation. The result was catastrophic.
The potato blight moves over from America and it hits all of Europe. And about 100,000 people die in Europe due to famine, where in Ireland it's 1 million and 2 million leave the country. The conditions which made famine so deadly were conditions which had been imposed due to English rule of the land system and taking money out of the economy, which suppressed people.
Ireland's past has created a unique bond with Palestine. It comes from generations who know what it means to lose land, language and lives. In Northern Ireland, that history is still felt, shaping the politics and identity of artists like Kneecap, a reflection of solidarity rooted in lived experience.
But I do think it's very clear for Irish people that solidarity between Irish people and Palestine, and why Kneecap, particularly as, you know, children of the ceasefire, people who've grown up in Belfast and in the north, why they feel such strong solidarity with Palestine. And, you know, it has, that there's a long legacy, even before October 7th and the genocide. There has been a long legacy of solidarity between nationalists in Northern Ireland and Palestine movement.
I mean, two of them were born and reared in West Belfast, as I understand it. One of whom is the son of a very prominent Irish language activist, and he was a major player in terms of Irish language activism in West Belfast, Garage O'Callaghan. He was somebody who kept the Irish language developing. One of a number of people who was very much involved in developing the Irish language in West Belfast in his time. He was one of the people behind what became the Cultural. So, you know, so you are dealing with people here who were exposed to divisions around language.
Kneecap's insistence on Irish in court wasn't about spectacle. It was about exercising a right that was denied for generations, a reminder that the struggle for language equality and the lasting effects of colonialism are still being fought in Ireland today.
You know, up until the act that came in 2022, it was prohibited to use Irish in courts, and they are very aware of that. You know, these are young men who have been involved in the Irish language movement, and in that, you know, their families have been as well. So they're very aware of what was denied to them and their families and everyone before. So now that that right is there, they're exercising their right to use their language in court, because often is a marker of distinction between us and them. And that perpetuates in history, even post-colonialization, it still stands as a symbol of resistance, of resilience, and of the culture.
Keeping culture alive and standing against oppression isn't just about honouring the past, it's about shaping the future. In Britain, many still don't know what happened in Ireland, but the legacy is close. Poverty, ill health and division carried through generations. Irish families still experience hardship, a lasting scar of the Great Hunger and colonial rule. These effects don't simply vanish when a conflict ends, they echo for centuries. And that's why Ireland's story matters now. It shows us what happens when people are silenced, and it warns us of what will happen again in Palestine and beyond if the world chooses not to listen.